that we are going to have tonight. So, Brother Zuri, please.
Assalamualaikum, saya Zuri daripada Malaysia for Uyghur. Jadi malam ni we will be having an event, an online discussion among NGOs. Also the media will be present at the same time, and the purpose of the discussion is to allow to endorse a memorandum of action to our government to allow Uyghurs in Malaysia to have refugee rights in Malaysia, because they are unwilling to return, unable to return. Moment. Okay. So because currently they are unable to return, their passports and visas are expiring. They are here in Malaysia contributing to our economy, and they have fear of returning back to Xinjiang, and they would love to stay in Muslim countries, and unfortunately not many Muslim countries they feel safe in. And I will be reading a letter, a statement from an Uyghur lady. I've invited her to give her statement, but she is too concerned about her safety. So I will be reading that letter from her on her behalf, and basically to highlight the fears and concerns of Uyghurs in Malaysia and why they love to stay in Malaysia, because they are Muslims, they want to stay in Malaysia. And at the same time tonight, just to highlight and to make sure everyone is clear that we are pro-Uyghur human rights. We are not anti-China. And we want to stand for those who are unable to speak for themselves. And participating tonight are not just Muslim NGOs. Participating tonight are also Christian groups, Christian representative from 400 churches. Because this is not just an Islamic issue, not just a Muslim issue or an Uyghur issue. This is a human rights issue. So it is not only concerning Uyghur Muslims, there are a certain percentage of Uyghur Christians as well. So we would like to speak on that aspect, on that angle, inshallah. So please join us tonight at 8 o'clock Malaysia time. We'll be joining, there'll be international Uyghur NGOs will be participating and giving their perspective on the Uyghur issue and Uyghur refugee rights. Some are from, one lady is from an Uyghur lady who is based in UK, and we should be speaking regarding the Uyghur Tribunal. And a Professor Rafida, will be speaking on Uyghur women and children, their rights to education and to stay in Malaysia. And so many. We have lined up, I think, about 12 speakers tonight, and look forward to see you. I mean, you need to know these things because it's happening. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Zuri. Thank you, Brother Zuri. I think most importantly is that we on behalf of organizer here, earlier I think we managed to record Imam Abdul Salam, his short message, maybe not much, I think around 2-3 minutes, but to give somehow some ideas what will happen for the past how many years to the Uyghur community, not only in China for the matter, in East Turkestan, but diaspora. I mean, Uyghur diaspora now, we can consider they are in many other countries. So maybe we can proceed to Brother Abdul Salam. Tonight, I mean, today is the day that for Uyghur community to remember to in commemoration of the Urumqi massacre in 2009. So perhaps before you comment on the initiatives that we are coming from civil society here in Malaysia doing this tonight for this event, but maybe earlier if you can explain us what really happened back then in 2009.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. First of all, Assalamu alaikum Malaysia. May the peace and blessing of Allah be to you all. To the whole nation of Malaysia who is going through a difficult time, through a lockdown. Ask Allah to ease the situation, cure those who are affected, and protect everyone in Malaysia. Secondly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the NGOs and the brothers and who have organized this spatial online discussion panel to to say Uyghur call for the Uyghur cause, and it's indeed a great support that we've been seeing and watching and witnessing that the NGOs in Malaysia have been really active, and we the Uyghurs or the East Turkestani community living abroad are quite thankful for that. We appreciate your support, and we can only say may Allah reward you and keep you strong. And you're actually doing a great job, that because you are acting as a voice for those voiceless, helpless people of East Turkestan who are suffering extremely beyond one can imagine. So coming to the point of today is a very significant day for us, for the people of East Turkestan. All the Turkic ethnic groups living in East Turkestan, majority being Uyghurs, Kazakh, Tatar, Kyrgyz, all others. This day is the day it's remembered as one of the difficult or painful day in our history, which is the 5th of July 2009 massacre, which took place in the capital city of East Turkestan, Urumqi. This is, although one of the significant days, but it's not the only significant day, because the issue of suppression of the Uyghurs and ill treatment of them, injustices upon them by the CCP, Chinese Communist regime, started way before. It's since 1949, when they first entered on the land, into the land of East Turkestan, occupied that land, and they've been doing systematic ways of damaging people, their identity, their religion, their culture, everything. But they were doing it in a very secret way, because the international community was not aware of that. So this day became very significant, because that the massacre which took place in Urumqi became viral. The international community became aware of this through some video clips, some photos taken, and it was distributed. And only then the international community realized that there is a community known as Uyghur, and they are suffering in the hands of China's Communist regime, and this and that. And then, well, it continued. And now, as we are entering into the, the 21st century now, in 2021, the situation, instead of healing, it became even worse. From 2014 onward, now the concentration camps and arbitrary detention, arrest of the people, so on and so forth, destruction of the mosques, worship places, destroying people, separating children from their parents, forcible marriage of the Muslim girls by the Chinese Han Chinese, basically kidnapping and abducting children, young people, taking away them from their own homelands, home cities, to Chinese cities, forcing them to work as under forced labor. Now one way is becoming open, that international community started realizing that this is happening. So this day of 2009, massacre, 5th of July 2009, although it's the very darkest day of our history, but I personally see it is the day that China has exposed itself. China has exposed itself to the international community, that now they not us as Uyghurs, but they have shown their enmity towards the whole people of East Turkestan. Because when you look at the history, how it started, it was the result of just a very peaceful demonstration, protest arranged by the local people, young people, as a result of the massacre which happened in a city called Shaogan City inside China. The young people, the age of 18, 20, under 25, hundreds of them were taken to the factories in the name of creating jobs for them. But they were mistreated, and there were lots of things that we tried to raise this issue, but no one was really paying attention because China, using its power and its whatever the means they have, they've been trying to say that whatever is they are doing for the Uyghurs are good things. But those people were attacked by the Han Chinese in one of the nights, and in many dozens were killed, and it was a disaster. So the people, when they heard about that, they just want to demonstrate, asking for justice, demand on justice. That was the only thing. But they were rounded down by the military forces, shooting at them firearms, and like many got killed, many were arrested, and then the story became very viral. Everyone knows about that. So probably in the discussion panel tonight, probably the other speakers will shed light on this in detail. I was listening to one of the discussion panel. One of the witnesses who was there on those days, 5th, 6th, 7th, Ahmed, his name is, he actually narrated the story, what had happened. He actually described the situation that the streets of Urumqi was filled with blood of innocent Uyghur people. So we are actually talking about that day, and we commemorate and we express our anger and disagreement with the way that the Chinese communist regime has been treating the Uyghur people. Now, instead of they correcting their attitude, their approach to the Uyghurs, now they are even going further. Now they have come to the level that they want to completely wipe out Uyghurs in many ways, punishing, destroying their religion, their culture, their identity, forcing them to speak only Chinese, not allowing them to speak their own mother tongue, destroying their worship places, and there does not remain a single basic human rights which is actually being looked after or taken care. So it is a day of really a big pain, suffering for us, and still there are people who are lost, disappeared from 2009 until now. There is no knowledge, no information about whereabouts. So thank you again for raising this issue and making the community, especially Malaysian government, raising this matter to the government level. And yes, as a result of that, not the people of East Turkestan in Turkestan are suffering, but also the Chinese government is trying to put pressure onto the Muslims, the Uyghurs and the others in diaspora, and by putting mental pressure on them, separating them from their families, not allowing them to contact. For example, myself, I completely lost contact with my family for the last 4 years now. I don't have any contact. Now we are talking about the media at that time that is in the 21st century. All the social media is available. There's not a single person left out of this whole world except the people of East Turkestan. They are completely cut off from their families. We don't know what's happening, what is taking place in our cities, to our family members, to our homes, brothers and sisters. So we can only try to raise this issue, raise awareness to the people, to the international community, to talk about it and understand the situation, and let not this genocide, which happened in World War II, to repeat again, because it was a promise made by the international community at the United Nations, saying that there shouldn't be any more genocide repeated in future. But now it's happening. The international community needs to understand this, see it, and take action.
Yeah, this happened for the past 12 years, since 2009, if you quote. But I think earlier you did mention that this is not, I mean, the tragedy is 2009 is one of the indication that China exposed themselves to the world. But previously, you have said earlier that this has been, I mean, the suffering is already, I mean, long time. I mean,
since 1949.
Since 1949. But just to get some ideas, currently, I think if you say Uyghur, some of our people tend to, I mean, look at from another perspective. I mean, the other issue is more demanding, like Palestinian issues, compared to other ethnicity issues. So how do you see this, understanding, I mean, the worldview that people look at this from the perspective of country-based, issue-based, ethnic-based. So people are more, interested to talk about Palestinian instead of Uyghur. So how do you feel this as a Uyghur leaders?
First of all, as a Muslim, I feel that there shouldn't be any difference between a Palestinian issue or East Turkestani issue. It is a humanitarian issue. In Islam, every soul is a sacred soul. Every soul, every innocent soul needs to be protected. Whether it is in Palestine, in Mecca, or in Turkestan. Because in the sight of Allah, every human soul is a special soul. And there are some similarities between East Turkestan and the Palestinian issue, because in terms of history, 1948 is the year that it was that Palestine was occupied by Israel, and 1949 was the time that East Turkestan was occupied by China. And it is occupied by both in the sense that, they want to take over the land, take over the rights, and destroy the rights of people. And it is happening. And China even went further, because in Turkestan, there is no sign of Islamic education, cultural education. Okay, they don't see that. You don't find even a single house where you could find a Quran or anything to do with Islam. In Palestine, at least people can still pray. Yes, sometimes they are forbidden to attend, to come to the Masjid al-Aqsa to pray, but that is the political issues. But they have their own masajid everywhere. They have their own Islamic schools, radios, and they have Muslims can choose to wear the traditional clothing. Everything is free for them, but in East Turkestan it's not. So international community, they are looking at, especially the Muslim countries, looking at the Palestinian cause as a big cause. Yes, it is indeed. It's upon us because of the Masjid al-Aqsa, the value of Masjid al-Aqsa. But again, we need to know a Muslim's, an innocent person's life value is far more bigger than the value of the Kaaba in the sight of Allah. And we should look at it in a bigger picture. Like, the people of East Turkestan who are suffering there are not only suffering physically, but they are suffering mentally, politically, okay? And also they are losing their identity as Muslims, as Uyghurs. And none of the Muslim countries, unfortunately, have spoken against this suppression knowingly. And many of the leaders, they try to even ignore, turn blind eye, knowingly that this suppression is happening because of their own personal interest or the economical benefits they get for their countries. And it is really shameful. And it's really, and standing with injustice is a big crime. And I'm saying to those Muslim leaders who claim that they are the people who are leading the Muslim country, represent the Muslim countries in the, in the United Nations, but unfortunately we don't see anything coming from them. It is really sad. But we still hope. We still hope that things will change, and the leaders will understand the situation. And I would like to say to them that do not wait until you become the target, because if it's happening to us, it may happen to you as well, because you don't trust the CCP.
Almost 100 years they celebrated, eh?
Yet they are celebrating the injustices they have afflicted, they have brought upon the people, their own people as well. Like during the Mao's time, who lived until 1978, only around in his reign, in his time alone, he killed about 70 million people all over China in the name of revolution, cultural revolution, this, that, so. And the number of people got killed in China alone are far more bigger than the people killed in both world wars, World War I and II. Now, the people know that history is there. There are facts about it. And now we can see that what they did to their own people in Hong Kong, what they have done to the people, their own people, citizens in Tiananmen Square in 1989. So now we can imagine, people can imagine now that if they could not show any mercy to their own people, who are not actually asking, demanding this, they wanted to take certain part of it, they want to be independent. No, they were just asking for basic rights. Okay, but now to our people, definitely they don't have any sign of positivity towards us, and they've been doing this from the beginning. But now since 2009, they have clearly said, now you are our enemy. Your existence is our destruction. That's how they see it. And to achieve their goal of one wealth, one road, one belt project, they are seeing East Turkestan and people of East Turkestan as the biggest obstacle. That's why, for their own gains, for their own economic benefits, one way they are suppressing our people, the other way they are trying to buy off or bribe the neighboring Muslim countries. And because of that, they are muted about the real issue, real genocide, which is happening right now in East Turkestan.
Thank you, Brother Abdul Salam. I'm not sure whether Brother Zuhri got some question, but of course we take this opportunity to invite Brother Salam again. Please.
Oh, okay. Just usually people wouldn't understand when I try to explain to people why Uyghurs are being oppressed in East Turkestan, and then it helps when I start with saying the oil-rich East Turkestan. then people understand, oh, why they want East Turkestan. It helps with saying, hey, it's very oil rich and it's connect Belt and Road project. It's very important to them. So it's about resources. It's about oil. It's about
and the strategical point of the geographical point of East Turkestan itself, because it connects China to
seven
the
country,
south. Yeah, 7 countries, and through that it connects it to the west, and that's the only way they can usually do. They can bring their pipelines or the economy run through this road. That's why the project of one road, one belt, one belt, one road is actually could not succeed without East Turkestan. And East Turkestan has been a significant place in history as well. Silk Road is very famous. Even in the ancient time, the business, the trade from that part to and connecting it to the west has to go through the Silk Road, and which is in the center of East Turkestan. Now, East Turkestan is China is taking, and the economists, the scientists know that East Turkestan is a backbone of China in terms of economy because of the resources. It's not oil rich only. All out of 140 various different resources, natural resources, more than 115 natural resources are found. Name coal, gas, oil, gold, uranium, one of the most important element that is used for the weapons, for other important things that they show, the advanced countries show their power through that, and it's there, and it's in the best quality, and the people of East Turkestan themselves are they are becoming living like a beggars, and that's why some economists have described the people of East Turkestan. They are the beggars holding golden plate in their hands. Gold plate they are holding, but they can't benefit from that. So it is one of the reasons. And to achieve that goal for themselves, now they are doing it at the life and of the people of East Turkestan. And they see that is the target, the obstacle for them, so they want to completely wipe out by using various systematic ways.
Imam, I remember the story you told me about your mother who was taken, 80-year-old mother who was taken in, at that time she was 80 years old. Sorry, I have to bring up something personal. Because you've received the news that your mother has been taken into one of the concentration camps, right?
No, my mother, I hope that she is not in the concentration camp, but because I don't have any contact with her for the last 4 years, I don't have any contact with my immediate family members, brothers and sisters, so I have no idea. East Turkestan itself became an open roof prison for the people of East Turkestan.
Great.
Because people cannot express their views. People cannot communicate with anyone.
Yeah.
So there are what else? Turkestan itself became a whole a prison for people. And beside more than that, there are concentration camps, there are prisons. People have been taken without nobody can ask questions. So for me, because since I don't have any contact, I feel that I don't know whether they are about their safety, they're okay, or in concentration camp, or part of my family is in the concentration camp. And definitely, what I know is my sister was given a prison for 10 years, because she's just normal to a lady, mother of children, and she's the wife only looking after the children. What is her crime? Just because probably she is praying, she acts as a Muslim. That could be the only reason. Because we were not given any proof, any charge, what base she is charged. And I don't have any contact with my brother and my brother-in-law, my sister's husband. They've been taken into prison for given 8 years, 10 years, even more imprisonment terms. So it's not only me. Every single person outside, East Turkestani person, or Uyghur person, has a story to tell about his family, immediate family members.
And usually it's a story of family members who are missing, disappeared.
Yes. Yeah. There are many, and you can't go and ask about them as well. My teacher who got killed in concentration camp was at the age of over 80, and his death news was given 6 months after to the family. So it means that we don't know. Even those who got killed, we don't know where they were buried. Okay, people are not allowed to even offer their funeral prayers. People are not given the opportunity to go and do the funeral procession, bury them properly Islamically. Only just a couple of people have to just go and bury them. So when we hear the news, what we do here is we try to pray Salatul Janazah al-Ghaib. So for the people.
How do you basically counter the narrative? I mean, of course, what you explained just now, I think easily for the CCP or the representative here, they even come up with the article in Bahasa Melayu saying different things. I mean, different.
Definitely, because look, they have the government, they have the manpower, they have resources, and they have diplomatic relationship with others, and they can use this one in a diplomatic way. Sometimes by through bribes, sometimes by threat. If you don't listen to us, if you don't go with us, then you will be like boycotting. You won't get what you are normally getting, and that's happened. Like like in China has utilized it is economic power to suppress the international the underdeveloping or developing countries, the third world countries. And there are many examples, like Tunisia and Algeria. Algeria listen, like cooperates with China. She gets billions of dollars economical support, and then they are advancing. And Tunisia has some concern, that's why they were not given anything. And Sri Lanka, for example, another country who could not comply with Chinese demand, and they had the China put pressure on them that, okay, return our money back, what you lent from us, what you borrowed from us, and they could not. What happened? Then they had to, the China put pressure on them that you have to give your port for us for 100 years, and they have no, I mean, they can't say no because they are controlled from their neck, from their throat. So this is the situation. And African countries, all of the African countries under pressure, and some started realizing that now it's too late for them because they have already taken lots of money, support, help from the Chinese government, and now they don't have the money to pay back. So this is the situation. Very, very unfortunate. So it is only the Western countries, like who are realizing and understanding the situation, because they don't have any thing to do to give in to China, and they are speaking about it. And then some countries have openly said that it's genocide happening in East Turkestan.
Brother, I mean, in 2019 April, I was in Beijing in a forum with a chairman of multi-religious affairs. I asked a question about your mother. I said that my friend's mother is missing. How can I, find a way to see her? I mean, she's been missing. She cannot be contacted. People want to get in touch with their family back home. And the response was, no, don't listen to this terrorists and separatists. Anyone asking about anyone missing, meaning you're a terrorist or separatist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they see it. Like, for them, every East Turkestani person is a terrorist unless they comply with everything they do. Unless you become loyal, not loyalty in the sense that, okay, I'm a citizen, I follow the Chinese law, for example. Let's say the people of Urumqi on the 5th of July 2009, when they came out in the streets protesting, they were not carrying arms. They were not saying anything against the Chinese government. They were carrying Chinese red flag. And they were asking just justice, demanding justice for that crime which took place in Shaogan. Nobody came to listen to their demand. Not even one single person. Not even they said, okay, send delegation to us. We'll listen, we'll sit with you. And then, if they had just said one word, we will take care of that. That would have been enough answer. People would have been dispersed, and they would go home. But what happened was that they had to face tear gases, firearms, and right in the street, people who didn't carry anything, just innocent people, civilians, got shot and killed. So what can you now? How can you justify this? This is the reality that we are facing. And now look at the Hong Kong people when they started, for example, when they demanded their justice, simple, basic human rights. They were asking for. What happened? They legislated a new law, and as a result of that, now they cannot even protest now. Many people are now arrested, disappeared. It's happening to the people of Hong Kong. Now the international community realizes, we made a big mistake. England is saying that they had a big mistake. So if it could happen, if China is doing it openly without caring about the international community, so what can you expect? Would they listen to a person, like a visitor, a delegation who visited China by their invitation? Definitely, they'll expect they will try to show you the bright side of certain things, and they will decorate certain things for you and play a drama, and they will show you a stage drama. Okay, this is what the situation is, but the reality, they will never share it. And even if it is exposed, like one of the journalists from Albania has exposed, and that he told the story, the truth, what he has experienced. Now, what did they say? They first try to bribe him, but then they said, okay, you're lying, and then they try to use other journalists, other media people against him. So this is the dirty tactics of the Chinese CCP government, and they've been doing that to everyone.
A lot of this is news to a lot of people. Sorry, please, but
I believe that we managed to get Abu Salam lucky, because I was informed that he got another class after this, but we try our level best to get him as much as possible, maybe perhaps for some other arrangement. I think this is basically an exclusive session. Perhaps for tonight's session is only, I think we give around 5 minutes for every person. So now we have more than how many minutes today with Abu Salam.
Alhamdulillah,
despite very last minute invitation. But I think this is very important to discuss and to get more. Even we are from so-called activists who are following this discussion. I mean, discussing about this issue, perhaps this is basically a new knowledge and information from us. So I have another question. Other than advocacy aspect, what we did is basically to give more awareness campaign for that matter. So what are the most needed now by Uyghur community in terms of maybe perhaps the humanitarian assistance, whatnot? So maybe if you can enlighten us on this.
Yeah, I mean, every country has its own capacity to help. But now talking about Malaysia, because there are some people who can't even openly go out and say that I'm Uyghur, because due to some safety, security issues. So one thing we love to see from the Malaysian government is to give protection to those people, accept them, and because those people are educated, most of them are actually doing being a very productive people in Malaysia, and if they can be given protection guarantee that they are safe, then they could even perform better in their life, and also can even be more productive to the Malaysian economy, and also they are Muslims. So it is, I think, I believe that it's the moral duty of the people of Malaysia, the NGOs, to support and do something about it. So this is the most important thing that we want right now, because these people, every day they go to sleep and they have nightmares, because they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, unless they get a clear protection guarantee from the government saying that you are safe. Because they are not committing any crime there, they just want to live in peace. And they're already suffering, mentally are already suffering a lot, enough suffering they are going through because of their family members, they cannot communicate, they had issues, and they are not only suffering economically, but the most important one is security. Rizq is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? Whatever the reason, the way they live, Allah will give some way out. But what is now more concerned is about the security of the people. And if that matter is solved, I think you will, be having big relief, because there are still brothers and sisters, many brothers who are still in Thailand, in detention center, in prison, for example, for many years in Indonesia. Those people are innocent people. They haven't committed any crime. They just came out only to save their life, to live peaceful life. That was the only thing. And they chose to come to these countries, Malaysia, for example, believing that they are Muslim, they understand our situation. Let's say if they have committed crime, and there's a proof against that they should be charged, they should be punished according to law of the country. But they are peaceful, they are like innocent people, they are the muhajirun, and they have a right to ask and demand to be given that guarantee, that freedom, safety in Malaysia.
That will be our main concern and our main topic to be discussed tonight. Perhaps we are expecting to come up with a solid memorandum to be submitted to relevant authorities on this matter. earlier we expect that maybe we could have digitally someone that we can consider, I mean, to hear our voices, especially coming from the civil society. Plus, the one that we listen to is the spokesperson. I mean, coming from your own ethnicity, your own community. So I think that maybe perhaps whatever that we can do on behalf of organizing committee, Malaysia for Uyghur for this matter. So I would like to thank you to Imam Abdul Salam. So Brother Zuri, anything, last message to Brother Abdul Salam?
Thank you very much, Imam. Very happy to see you again. Hope when this pandemic ends, we'd like to see you again.
Inshallah, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you, I appreciate and I really thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yes, it was short notice, but Alhamdulillah, this is great thing for me, because we had a protest here in the city, hundreds of people gathered, and there were many people who were from the locals and also from other communities attended, and it was I believe that it was a success, and Alhamdulillah, this is one of the things that that one could do, and I really appreciate your efforts and hard work. May Allah reward you. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Brother Abdul Salam. So Brother Zuri, boleh kita explain sikit apa yang akan berlaku pada malam ni sebagai panduan kepada orang ramai yang barangkali sedang menonton. Kita minta semua supaya dapat share info ini, share perkongsian yang telah disampaikan oleh Imam Abdul Salam sebentar tadi, dan malam ni insyaAllah pada jam 8 malam kita akan adakan Uyghur Refugee Strike in Malaysia. So kalau boleh Brother Zuhri explain apa yang akan berlaku pada malam ni.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so malam ini adalah perbincangan roundtable discussion, dan untuk meratifikasilah untuk pengesahan NGO yang bersetuju, yang endorse Memorandum of Action yang kita kemukakan. Dan event tu akan bermula dengan saya akan perkenalkan panel-panel speaker. Seperti salah seorang adalah Dolkun Isa, World Uyghur Congress President yang berada di Munich, Germany. Lepas tu Sister Rahimah Mahmud dari World Uyghur Congress di UK, di mana di UK baru-baru ni mengadakan Uyghur Tribunal, di mana ramai-ramai Uyghur mengeluarkan testimoni apakah yang telah berlaku, bagaimana torture, bagaimana suppression yang berlaku di sana oleh yang terjadi kepada mereka. These are witnesses, dan bukan saja orang Uyghur, bekas pegawai polis China juga yang ada bagi pengakuan benda-benda ni berlaku di Uyghur Tribunal yang baru lepas ni. So kita ada dua saksi yang berada masa Urumqi Massacre. Mereka bukan Uyghur tapi mereka dari Canada. Witness perkara-perkara yang berlaku, dan daripada 2009 sampai 2018 mereka berada di Turpan, ya. So mereka nampak macam mana daripada massacre tu berlaku sampai shift orang hilang, kawan hilang, tiba-tiba ada bangunan baru, camp yang di-set up, kan. Apa guna camp ni? Mereka nampak perubahan tu daripada 2009 sampai 2018, selama 10 tahun mereka ada di sana. These are witnesses. Ini saksi-saksi yang ada. Kemudian saudara Faizal dari ABIM akan bersama kita untuk membaca sedikit doa, baca very short tahlil lah kepada Uyghur-Uyghur yang telah terkorban pada massacre tersebut. And kita menjemput juga Cikgu Azmi dari MAPIM untuk mengemukakan salah satu yang akan dikemukakan oleh Cikgu Azmi dari MAPIM adalah Safe Uyghur Mosque, ya. Safe Mosque in Xinjiang, SMX, di mana yang kita dapat tahu lebih pada 16,000 masjid telah dihancurkan selama beberapa tahun ni, dan salah satu masjid telah dijadikan sebagai public toilet. Okay, selepas tu kita menjemput Dr. Profesor Madya Dr. Rafidah Hanim, President of WAFIC, mengenai mengapakah kita patut menolong khasnya wanita dan anak-anak, apakah akses pelajaran yang kita patut bagi dan boleh bagi, kan. Dan saudara Fahmi sendiri insyaAllah akan sebagai wakil Global Peace Mission, CEO Global Peace Mission, akan kemukakan mengenai yang NGO Malaysia ni bila dah ready untuk membantu humanitarian dari aspek humanitarian untuk membantu Uyghur-Uyghur yang ada di Malaysia. Bukan Malaysia saja, malah GPM sudah banyak memberi bantuan humanitarian ke luar negara Uyghur yang diaspora di luar negara juga. Kita menjemput juga Engineer Haji Jamaluddin Samsudin, CEO of Allied Coordinating Committee of Islamic NGOs. Bagaimana NGO banyak sanggup ingin membantu Uyghur yang ada di Malaysia, tapi Uyghur takut untuk mengemukakan diri. Dia in hiding, bersembunyi. Lepas tu kita menjemput Mr. Jason Leong dari NCOM, Association of Next Generation of Christians Malaysia, seorang wakil dari 400 church, gereja, sebab akan mengukakan bahawa ini bukan sahaja isu Uyghur atau Muslim sahaja, this is a human rights issue, isu kemanusiaan. Itu antara yang kita perlu ingatlah, bukan sahaja Muslim juga atau Uyghur sahaja yang tertindas, ada juga Kristian juga yang tertindas. Lepas tu kita menjemput Mr. Omar Kanat dari Uyghur Human Rights Project untuk membentangkan sedikit mengenai shocking statistics, new report mereka-mereka yang telah di blackmail, yang dikenakan, yang ditarget lah, Uyghur yang ditarget di foreign soil, termasuk Malaysia yang menerima blackmail untuk balik. Kalau dia tak balik, sesuatu akan terjadi kepada keluarga mereka. Kita lepas tu menjemput Mr. Nur Muhammad Majid from East Turkestan Australian Association, President, mengenai solidariti dan kepentingan grup-grup NGO bersama dan kondisi pendapatnya mengenai Uyghur Human Rights di Malaysia dan kondisi Uyghur di Malaysia, sebab banyak kontak dia di Malaysia. Mr. Muhammad Tohti selepas tu akan join kita dari Canada, Uyghur Rights Advocacy Project dari Canada, akan bincangkan sikit sebanyak bagaimana beliau successfully secara dapat memberi kerajaan Canada, memudahkan kerajaan Canada untuk memberi sokongan kepada Uyghur issue. Selepas tu kita akan saya akan mempersembahkan sedikit mengenai detail-detail dalam Memorandum of Action to give Uyghur refugee rights di Malaysia. Selepas tu minta maaf kita tak ada jamuan makanan malam ni. Jadi kita akan terima sedikit Q&A daripada media dan media panelis dan jemputan yang ada dalam Zoom. Kalau yang tak dapat yang masuk ke dalam Zoom tu, boleh saksikan kami di Facebook Live Malaysia for Uyghur, ABIM, GPM, semualah. Nanti list tu akan diberi insyaAllah.
Baik. So itu yang akan berlaku pada malam ni, pukul 8 malam. Saya ingat banyak tokoh-tokoh yang kita cuba kumpulkan dalam satu event yang saya fikir sangat bermanfaat, dan insyaAllah anda boleh kongsikan program malam ni. Kita akan masukkan poster program pada malam ni juga untuk kalian kongsikan dan sebar-sebarkan dalam jaringan anda, sebab ini penting. Saya tanyakan tadi, apa pentingnya Uyghur, apa bezanya juga dengan Palestin. Jadi kalau kita nak tahu kenapa isu yang kita bincangkan ini juga antara perkara yang saya fikir sangat signifikan, ada beberapa perkara yang telah disebutkan juga oleh saudara ataupun Imam Abdul Salam sebentar tadi. Jadi saya ucapkan terima kasih atas masa dan ruang kesempatan pada petang ini. InsyaAllah jumpa pada malam ni. Assalamualaikum.
Jumpa 8 malam. Okay.
Naim, okey Naim?
And on social media.
Let me just give you some of the things that oppression Muslims are going into Pakistan in terms of their religious freedom. There is no religious freedom at all. Their complete religious freedom is being banned. I'll give you some list of that. Number one, they cannot read Quran. The Quran, all the religious books have been destroyed. They cannot pray. They cannot attend the mosque. They cannot fast openly. They cannot help each other with sadaqah. They cannot give qurban to each other. And they cannot enter a marriage with Muslims openly now. That's banned. They are forced to marry with the non-Muslim Chinese, and they are placed, the non-Muslim Chinese are placed in the Muslim families without males present, because all the males are taken into camp. And also they are forced to eat pork, drink alcohol. If you are running business, you are not allowed to use any symbol of halal logo. And there are so many more that we can talk. Anything Islamic you think of, that's banned there. Thank you.